Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. On this episode, we're going to discuss some of the build details on my 87 El Camino. I've had this car since I was about 12 years old. I'm 30 now, so it's been around a while. It started out life with 305 in it. Then we quickly swapped it over to a 355. Has a Positrack rear end in the back. Had a 700R4 transmission in it. That was fun and all for high school shenanigans, but eventually it got where it's more of a pain to drive than it's even worth. So this year we decided to swap it over to be an LS swapped build. We're going to start at the front and work the way back, kind of discussing some of the stuff we've learned. We went with a trans cooler mounted to the front of the radiator over actually going through the radiator for the trans cooling. We had the C10 with a 700R4 transmission in it, and we had bad overheating issues. And then on this one, we figured out why. If you look inside the ports on these radiators, it's like hardly anything for the water circulate through. And these LSs, they're going to be running 200 degrees, and that's over the operating temperature of what the transmission should be. And then we went with 8AN lines from the transmission to the transmission cooler. That's kind of help reduce some of the line pressure. If you go at 6AN, it just bumps line pressure up and you have a whole lot harder shifts and just less enjoyable to drive. The radiator is same radiator it's been in it. It's nothing fancy, just Amazon special radiator. The cooling fans came off of like a Ford Fusion. We found a random car in the junkyard with electric fans, ran it and called it a day. And then we got Corvette radiator hoses, nothing fancy. We had to order 2 or 3 different radiator hoses to figure out what exactly actually wanted to work. Then we have all ICT billet brackets to hold on the power steering, alternator, Holley sniper, throttle body, Holley EFI high ram intake. We're using a ACES EFI system for control the fuel injection and timing. A lot of people on the internet have a lot of issues with this ACES EFI stuff, but knock on wood, we haven't had really any issues. We just had to pay a tuner to kind of go through everything. This motor has a 4-inch stroke and 3-point bored out to 3.9, so pretty spicy little motor. It should be pushing about 500 horse to the wheel. We got a 4L65 transmission in it. It's been completely went through by PTC transmissions. The 1-2 shift's pretty aggressive, but whenever you're on the gas, you really don't notice it. Then stock drive shaft, I know that's eventually going to give away. That's going to be my fuse link before the 8.5-inch rear end. But the 8.5 rear end has a Positrack unit in it. It got some age on it, so I'm anticipating it going out pretty soon. Hopefully it can last me another year or two before I can drop a Ford 9 off into it. But right now we're just running on the hope that we spin a little bit so we don't hook up and snap everything from the drive shaft back. But I have pretty good confidence in the motor and transmission that it's going to hold up to whatever we throw at it. There's 2 tools that you really need. That'll be a temperature gun and then a smoke tester. So what we did with a temperature gun is we shot each exhaust tube and saw the temperature reading on it and try to find some misfires. It's not really a good way to know exactly which cylinder you have a misfire on with the ACES or Holley Terminator or Haltech or whatever you use. So I had a weird reading between the map 1 and map 2, or sensor 1 and sensor 2. What they ended up being was I had a cylinder 7 misfire. So the only way I could know that was I used a temperature gun to find it. What they ended up being was there was a connector just barely connected good enough to run and idle, but whenever you got on power, it would vibrate itself loose. Another thing that comes in handy is a smoke tester. If you smoke test all the exhaust system, you find a bunch of exhaust leak. We was using like a slip bang connector on there, and we had a bunch of exhaust leak there. What they ended up doing was giving us some false readings on our AFR. We ended up going to V-band, which got a little bit of clearance issue with this car, but working my way through it. And then another issue that plagues these EFI swaps is vacuum leaks. So you'll have a vacuum leak and it'll mess with how your throttle body reacts. You'll notice that your IAC numbers won't be repeating. Your throttle response won't be worth a damn. But if you smoke test everything and find all those leaks before you even start tuning, that's a big benefit and time saving factor that helps you along the road. These LS swap headers, they come with pre-welded bungs in there for you to put your O2 sensors in. Just by any Aces, Holly, or whoever you go with, do not recommend those, because you actually need to be, I think it's supposed to be 7 to 10 inches past the collector where your AFR reading needs to be, and that's on up in the collector where the pre-welded ones are. So what we did on this was we just plugged off the holes and then put the new connectors in there. Another thing on these LS swaps, especially with aluminum block and aluminum heads, you really need to use a catch can for these. They produce a bunch of condensation, and it's better off for that to go into a catch can than drain back into your oil, and then you have a bunch of water in your oil. If I had anything to do over again on this build, it would for sure be to do a remote mount transmission dipstick, because as you can see now, it's way up in the back and kind of being crushed. Not a very good way to be checking the transmission fluid, but it's a lot easier to be able to do a remote mount dipstick, and that way with the oil pan off, that way you can do your lines on there. Eventually we'll put that on there, but that's kind of later on down the road ordeal that we'll deal with. The interior this year has came a long ways. Of course, had the maroon interior from factory. We got some black carpet, black headliner. Tried to put black visor in there, but I'm not so certain I like it. Of course, did a dash pad, then rattle can the rest of the interior black. As you can see, got the Aces EFI system in here. The Aces Jackpot 2 with a PDM. We ended up going with NRG Prisma seats. These are reclinable. Don't have a whole lot of reclining to it, not a whole lot of room in this car. And then went with the NRG steering wheel. Eventually you're going to have a quick disconnect, so I actually have my horn button, but for right now, it is what it is. We have our on-off switch to turn on the Aces. Then we have the fun button right here. That's the two-step. We ended up making our own door handles, pull handles. We just wrapped it with some suede and then hand stitched ourselves. That was a little bit more of a project than we thought it was going to be, but it at least saved us $50 on the whole build. Out here at the back, we'll discuss some of the tire choices and the exhaust system that we went with the car. On the front, we have Cooper Cobras, pretty standard classic car tires. And then in the back, we have Mickey Thompson ET Street SS tires. They have been really amazing tires. They hook up as well as they can with our current suspension setup. But I will say, absolutely terrible in the rain. Do not recommend. And then on the exhaust system, we have Speed Engineering headers, specifically made for the G bodies. 3-inch exhaust all the way back to some Spintech 6000s. And then we do up and over the rear end, come out to some Borla exhaust tips. Pretty happy with the way the sound is. I just wish the routing was a little bit better, but that's just another one of them things that'll be to come later on in the future. As you can see, the paint has seen better days. We'll eventually either wrap the car or paint it. If you don't mind, just let us know if we should wrap it with some of our sponsors and logos for the car, or if we should just paint it back like a C701X like Cletus is about to give away. Also on the suspension, we went with some Bill Nye the Science Guy shocks. They're Bilstein 4100s. They do pretty good. eventually we're hopefully going to go to some coilovers. And then another thing that we're going to do in the future is we're going to do away with all the chrome trim. You can take this chrome trim off and there's a little tab sticking up. You just cut it off with a Ziz wheel, bond it over top of it, and wrap it. Makes it have like a really modern style look to it. But this is my car. Pretty happy with it, pretty proud of it. Hopefully, if y'all hang around long enough, we'll have a lot more build videos to go with it, but that'll take some time. Thank y'all guys for watching. See you again next time on the channel.